So Yaakov is struggles with the angel. We said it was a battle of ideas, and the Satan cannot defeat him, so he hits below the belt, so to speak. The Yigub Kafi Reicha, Veteka Kafi Yerach Yaakov, and he displaced the Gid Nosha. Now, so we don't eat the Gid Nosha. The Torah says later on we don't eat the Gid Nosha for that reason. The question is, why not? So why don't we eat the Gid Nosha? Because it was hit over here. So they say Al Pi Kabbalah, the idea is basically that when he hit that Gid Nosha, so every single piece of food, everything we have, has some sort of spark in it that justifies its existence and that we tap into when we eat it or we use it, whatever the case is. By hitting the Gid Nosha, the Gid was left without any spark. And therefore we can't eat it because then we're not really involved in any ruchni's experience while we're eating. In fact, the Gemara calls it Ein Begidim Benos and Tam, that the Gid doesn't particularly have any taste. And that reflects the idea that it doesn't have that spark in it anymore either. But be it as it may, the Sforno has a very interesting pshat. The Sforno says, you know why we don't eat it? Because the Gid Nosha reminds us of the defeat, right? Not defeat, I should say, but the fact that on some level the Satan was successful in hitting us. So we don't want reminders of defeats. We don't eat it. I mean, like, a Jew, you do what you got to do. If there's defeat, you move on. You don't wallow in a defeat. And so Sforno says they tossed out. We don't eat the Gid Nosha. We don't want reminders of defeats. Right? We want to grow from our defeats certainly, but we're not. We don't stay reminded of defeats. So what happens is that he struggles with the angel, and then he says, "Let me go," which implies that Yaakov now has a stranglehold on the Satan. The reverse. He's actually controlling the Malach. And Yaakov said, "I'm not sending you away until you give me bracha." So it's interesting. You know, Abraham was told, Lech Lecha. He was told, I want you to leave your home, which means leave the bad environment around you. What we call sur mara. Abraham is told to avoid all bad. That's his avoda for the most part. Just get away from the bad. Sur mara. Yitzchak, he kind of lived in a spiritual bubble. He wasn't sur mara. He didn't deal with Ra. He didn't deal with Ra whatsoever. He lived in a very spiritual bubble. In fact, he was so pure that some say that's why he didn't even see the faults of Esav to the extent that they were, because he was so pure. He was so pure that Hashem said you can't leave Eretz Yisrael. So he lived within this bubble of purity. Yaakov's role was to take Ra head on and change it l'tayv, to transform, because there's nothing that's really purely Ra in the world. It presents itself as Ra when it comes out of the guf, but if it comes out of the neshama, then it can be reflected in a positive way. Look, anything like jealousy. So jealousy, is that a bad thing? Well, yeah, if you're jealous of some guy's car, it's not really healthy. But if you're jealous of some guy's ruchnius and you use that to inspire you and to challenge you, that's okay. So Yaakov's role was to take the Ra and turn it into Tov, to use every single thing in the physical world and what seems to be bad and channel it in a positive way. So when he holds on to the angel, which means he's now controlling the Ra, and he even demands a bracha, what's he doing? He's effectively squeezing out a bracha out of Ra. He's transforming the Ra. You know, there's a form of martial arts, I think it's called Aikido, where basically, in many martial arts, you know, like judo and others, if somebody throws a punch, you block the punch. Now that takes a lot of energy to block the thrust of a punch. Aikido says, why are you wasting your energy trying to block a punch? If somebody throws a punch at you, grab him and use that energy against him. No, just use that. Now turn him around, right? So you can either block Ra, which takes a lot of kaiches, or no, don't fight the Ra. Take it, right? As some people say, sur mera vasei tov, from the Ra. Sur mera vasei tov. Take the Ra and flip it into good, right? So that's what Yaakov does. He essentially takes the Ra, he conquers it, he vanquishes it. He doesn't run away from it, nor does he live in a bubble of Taiv. But his job is to be engaged in the Ra and know how to dominate it. It's not a coincidence. The B'nai Sasser, my great-great-grandfather, had a beautiful gematria. He says, what's the name he gets now? He gets the name Yisrael after this chapter's over. He says, Yaakov, the name Yaakov, the letters Yaakov, and the word Satan, if you put them together, it equals to Yisrael. Because Yisrael represents the new Yaakov plus Satan. Yisrael is able to take this Yaakov and Satan and take the Satan, dominate it, now he's Yisrael. Wow. Unbelievable. Gematria, if you add it up, I think it's 540, I don't remember the exact number, but bottom line is Yaakov and Satan is equal to Yisrael. Hafadik. Okay.
Did he know he was fighting the angel?
Yes.
He knew.
Okay. And he says, I'm not letting go until you bless me. to give me bracha. Vayamel of Mashmecha, Vayamel Yaakov. And he says, Lo Shimcha ki Yim Yisrael ki Yisrael Mekim V'Nashim Atuchal. You're no longer going to become called the name Yaakov, but Yisrael, because you strove with Hashem and with man, and you've overcome. That means many things. It can mean that he's saying that you were able to balance dealing with man and dealing with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. In fact, Yisrael is Yashar, which means balance and straight and balance between the forces of dealing with people and humanity and with God. But the bottom line is that he gives him a bracha now. You're no longer Yaakov, which is a lower level, right? As the word Akev suggests, the heel, and you're now Yisrael. Gives him a bracha. And that shows that Yaakov was able to take the Ra and twist it into a bracha. And force to get a bracha. And he gets the bracha of Yisrael. It's interesting, I once saw a story that there was a couple, they couldn't have children for the longest time. They finally had a child, and a few years later the child died suddenly. So it was painstaking. It was really just painful and a tragedy, and they weren't consolable. And someone recommended they go to, I think it was Rav Gamliel. It was a big makubal, and he saw them, and he tried to console them and say, listen, it's everything. I also had a nephew that or a young, I think it was a grandchild actually, that passed away at an early age. He tried, and nothing was doing. They were crying and crying, and they couldn't stop crying. Anyway, he did the best he could. It was time to go, and they're about to leave. He said, maybe you don't want to go out the front, because everyone is waiting in the front to see me next. It's kind of embarrassing to you. Your eyes are all red. If you want to go out the side, I said, sure. So he go out the side. As they're about to leave, he bows his head, and he says, I want you to give me a bracha. I said, what? There's a holy Jew. He said, I want you to give me a bracha. I said, what are you talking about? I said, anybody that can go through what you went through and still have your emunah, and still, what? I want a bracha from you. So they were kind of stunned, and they gave a bracha, right? The lady writes later on that, she didn't, till later on, it didn't hit her what went on. What a beautiful and brilliant thing that he did. Number one is that he made them feel that their suffering and tragedy was for a purpose, that they developed even a greater munah, that they were so worthy, he validated that he wanted a bracha from them, right? And that he was able to take tragedy and turn it into a triumph. That's huge. So it was brilliant on his part, but it was also beautiful on his part, that he understood that what they needed was to get their self-respect back and feel good. And he said, Adra, what you've gone through, I want a bracha from you. So we could take tragedy, we could take difficulty and turn them into brachas. And Yaakov also, when he struggles with Satan, which often leads to tragedy or difficulties, can be parlayed into a bracha as well. When you struggle, just the struggling itself is worthy of a bracha, and he gives him a bracha. Okay. And then Yaakov asks, okay, now we're playing getting to know you. You ask me my name, so I'm going to ask your name. What's your name? So he says, no. Now he gets a little bit impersonal. Lama Zatishmi, why are you asking my name? And he gives him bracha, and that's it. He's done. Right? So why is he getting very vague over here? What is it like? He's kind of like works in the Secret Service, doesn't want to tell him his name. But what's the deal over here? So there are many explanations, but Chaim Shlomo has a very beautiful idea. He says the name of something or someone describes that person, and describes usually the essence of the person. It's not something peripheral, but the essence. We pointed out the word neshama. The root word of that is shame, because the neshama is the essence of a person. The shame describes that neshama. All right. And often parents give names to children, not even realizing. We say, Nizraga Ruach HaKodesh, little Ruach HaKodesh, goes into their heads. Hashem whispers to them what the proper name to give them is. All right? But be it as it may, if that's the name that everybody has, describes who they are, what this Satan is saying is, don't ask my name, because I have no name. I have no essence. We always think of the Satan. We always think of temptation. We always think of those things that we really want as really something of substance. They're nothing. It's smoke and mirrors. I always call the Yetzer Hara the master of Madison Avenue. He's great in marketing. He makes this belief. If you just have this thing, wow, you're going to be happy forever. If you have just this pleasure, you must have it. We all know when we pursue certain pleasures, by the time we get them, it's like whiffing on air. It's like, it's always the anticipation is greater than the thing itself, right? There used to be a commercial on TV, probably before your time. Not before your time, but maybe after your time. I don't know which one it was. But bottom line is, it was for Heinz ketchup. And you see, there you go. Remember that? right? And you see the kid with his eyes watching the ketchup. Can't wait till they're trying to show how the ketchup is so thick. So they're singing the song in the background, anticipation, and he's watching. Can't wait to have that ketchup. That's what we do with the Yitzhar. We anticipate. We can't wait. We finally get it. We sing davening in Rosh Hashanah, saying Yom Kippur, V'chol harisha kula ke'oshan tichla. That eventually all evil and the Satan Yitzhar will go up like a puff of smoke. Ke'oshan. Why the metaphor is smoke? Because smoke from the distance seems to have density. When you get up close, there's nothing there. From afar, oh, there's something. It was never anything to begin with. Often we go for things that our Yitzhar tells us we gotta have it, and then we have it. It's not what it's cranked up to be. That's what I don't have a name. It's all smoke and mirrors. I create what doesn't really exist. It's illusion in a sense, and that's what he's saying. Don't be deceptive. Don't ask for my name. I don't really have that name. I'm just going to end with one thought. Actually, two thoughts. It's interesting that because on this pasuk it says, no, not this pasuk. It says it. The end of the pasuk in pasuk Dalet says, "Vayaretz Esav." I think maybe pointed out last week. Vayaretz Esav. Did we learn last week? We didn't. Oh, so I didn't say. Okay. Vayaretz Esav lekrasai, and Esav went out to greet him. Vayechab keu, he hugged him. Vayipol al tzavarav, and he fell on his face. Vayishakem, and he kissed him. Right. So he hugs him and he kissed him. Also with Lavan. Earlier on, when Lavan meets Yaakov, find the same thing. When he meets Yaakov the first time, what does it say? Also, he hugs him and he kisses him. I think so. Let's see what it says. Lavan.
That was for the jewels.
That was for the jewels, right? Okay, good. Where's that? Pasuk base? No. It's, hold on, a little further. Hold on, 1 second. Let's find it. Yeah, Pasuk Yud Gimel on page 148. Vahi kishmaya Lavan Hashema Yaakov ben Achaisai. When he hears that Yaakov is coming, Vayaretz Akarasa, he comes to greet him. Vayichabek lo, he hugs him. V'nashek lo, and he kisses him. Right, same thing. Okay, good. You look in Parashat Vayechi when Yaakov is meeting up with his grandchildren. I think his grandchildren. Let's see if I can find it here. Also, same thing. Let me find it. Find it. No, where is it? No, it's too late. It says also that he hugs him and kisses him. Where is it, people? Where can I find it now? I'm not making this up, guys. Let me find it.
Are you sure it's not in the Vayikra?
No. Let's see.
Verse 10.
Verse 10?
Page 270.
Thank you very much. Okay. Oh, there you go. Yeah. Vayena Yisrael Kobdim Mizayken Layuchal Leroy's Vayagesh Yisrael love. He brings his two grandchildren close to him. Vayishak Lem, he kisses them. V'chabak Lem, he hugs them. Right? Same thing. But not the same thing. How the same thing? By Lavan and Esav it says he hugs him and he kisses him. Here it says he kisses him and he hugs him. Interesting? By Lavan and Esav, Vayichabek Vaynashek. Here it's Vayishak Vayichabek. Interesting. So it bothered me. Why is that way? I was thinking like this, that when you hug someone, you're bringing him to you. It's all about I want to bring you to me. A kiss, really, you're conferring from yourself to someone else. A kiss is really an act, in a sense, it's an act of giving from yourself to others. And when you hug, you're really bringing that person to yourself, right? You bring that person to yourself. So, in a sense, the Asavs of the world, it's all about themselves. Or like love and also, I want the jewels, right? So I'm bringing him closer to me because I want something out of the deal. Vayishak is the act of giving. So for Yaakov, the first thing is, in the relationship, he initiates by giving. There's Vayishak. He's giving, then he takes. By hugging. Hugging, you're taking into yourself. Vayishak, you're giving. So there's a... Also, you could say in terms of Vayichabek is more chutz, it's outside, it's superficial, and Vayinashik is more from Pnimius, but it's the same idea really, that Yaakov sees it one way, he kisses and he hugs. Esav's the world, they hug and they kiss, so to speak. It's first about themselves. It's the pleasure you give me, then I'll give you back, but I want this. So I wanted to end with this last thought, and that is, we know the end of the story, at the end of the Parsha, is a horrible story where Dinah is abducted by Shechem. Okay, I want to go through the whole story now, but I just want to mention one thing, and that is that there were four major traumas in Yaakov's life. And what the four major traumas were? What were they?
Yosef.
Yosef?
Yosef, yeah.
What else? Huh?
Rachel?
No, not trauma. Why she
Because he
died?
got
It was
tricked
natural death. What?
by the marriage. He got tricked by the marriage.
Okay, but it's not, I would call that a trauma, tragedy. Yeah.
The Esav.
Esav, Yosef, Lavan. 20 years that Lavan mamish made his life a living hell, and Dinah.
Yeah.
Right? And each one of those four represents four different gullies. We know we always mention there's four different exiles, and each one of those tragedies mirror images one of the gullies. Not going to go through all of them now, but Dinah, because we're heading to Hanukkah, really is the one that deals with Hanukkah. How's dealing with Hanukkah? If you think about it, it's remarkable. First of all, the fact that she was taken by Shechem and raped. We know in the story of Hanukkah that the generals would take all the virgin women before they got married, the Jewish women, and rape them before they got married. That's number one. Number two is the Greeks were all about assimilation, right? It's all about assimilation. And to that extent, they didn't want the Jews to be any different than them, and they prohibited them from having Milah. Well, there's two ways to assimilate. Nobody has a Milah, or everybody has a Milah, right? Shimon and Levi, what did they do? Everybody in Shechem had a Milah. They were all the same. In fact, the city of Shechem said to the brothers, you'll marry our daughters, we'll marry your sons, right? We're talking about assimilation. Mm-hmm. And who beats the whole city of Shechem? Shimon and Levi. It's Rabbi Biyad Miatim. It's the whole story all over again. Whether it's the defilement of Dinah, which the Greeks try to do by defiling the Kedusha of the Beis HaMikdash. They didn't destroy the Beis HaMikdash. They thought it was a thing of beauty. Dinah was beautiful. He didn't kill her, but he defiled her. It was Shimon and Levi. It was Rabbi Biyad Miatim. Shimon and Levi took on an entire city, like the Maccabee took on the entire army. The story of the Shechem was they wanted assimilation. And we'll marry your daughters, you'll marry our sons, and that's precisely what the Yavan story was about, assimilation. So the Dinah story really is about the Hanukkah story, and each one of those has that tragedy as well. I will end with one last point. I said it twice already, but it's my last point for sure. When Dinah is raped, so Shimon and Levi, they attack and defend, and they say like this: "Kinavala asa b'Yisrael v'chein lo yeh asa." This is an abomination that took place for the Jewish people, and it should never be done. And the phrasing seems a little bit repetitious. It's an aval, it's an abomination in Yisrael, and it should not be done. Why are we adding that second piece? If somebody asks you to watch something for them, he says, here's a purse, and he gives you a purse, there are 6 silver coins in there. Okay? And then one day you get upset at him and you toss it into the river. That's it. You're angry at him. And he says, you owe me silver coins. You owe me for your dad. I said, okay, I'm sorry I did it, but all right, I owe. He said, well, actually, there were 5 gold coins, and he had proof. There were 5 gold coins. He said, I didn't know there were gold coins, I thought they were silver. So do you have to pay for silver or for gold? What do you think?
Gold.
Gold, silver.
Gold.
Silver. Gold.
Depends who you look at.
Huh?
Know whose side you look at. The one what
Yeah.
he's doing.
All
The
right.
other one
So it's interesting. Right? On the one hand, you say, listen, I only knew it was silver. On the other hand, what do you mean? But the bottom line, you destroyed it. What's the difference? What, right? So Gemara actually says it really does depend. It depends on if he did it intentionally or not. If you watched it and something happened to it, so then he thought he's watching silver, he's only responsible for watching silver, his shmir was only on silver. That was a shmir. You told me to watch silver, I'd watch silver, so my chiyuv and my base shmir. But if I'm mazik biyadayim, if I go ahead and throw it away, you're mazik. That makes a difference what it was. You weren't supposed to be mazik it, you have to pay for gold. That's a halacha, like every halacha, has a deeper underpinning as well. And what is that? That is that sometimes we're not as we're hurtful to people. Now we don't realize how hurtful we are because we don't realize who we're hurting. I saw a story of Rapam once. Rapam said that there was a cleaning lady. She was a pasha lady. Nobody knew who she was. They didn't know how she had religious at all, and she had nothing. And it seems the person she worked for died. And the day of the funeral, she came and she walked behind the hearse. And Rapam said, you heard her say to the hearse, you owed me money for the past 3 months, you never paid me. I'm mochel you. I forgive you. Rapam was blown away. Here's a simple cleaning lady, probably every dollar makes a difference. And first and foremost in mind was, she's not going to let this woman die and go to Shemayim and have her taina. So I'm mochel. He was just like, he said, here was the simple lady, and people try to treat her with, semi-respect. He said, you don't stand. The same way we understand that if you disrespect a really important person, it's and that's there's a price to pay for that. There's a consequence. The same way, if you hurt somebody that you don't know. You think that person has a silver neshama. But they have a gold neshama, right? But if you hurt them, you're going to have to pay for the gold neshama. You have to pay the price of a gold neshama. In other words, the people of Shem could have said, we didn't know that Adina has a neshama of a Jew. We don't know what that means. So, okay, so how can you hold account for that? No. Ki nevala asa b'Yisrael. That's true. And maybe you don't understand that. It's an abomination for Yisrael to do that kind of thing. But since v'chein lo ya'asa, since this shouldn't be done in the world at large, this is like being mazik b'yadayim. This is something that nobody civilized does. So if you did that, you're going to be held accountable for nevalas of Yisrael. Since v'chein lo ya'asa, since this is something that nobody should do, and you went and did it, it's like nobody should throw the gold away, or the sack away. Nobody should treat a woman this way, Jewish and not Jewish. So the fact that you did it, even if you didn't know that she had a Yiddish neshama, you're going to pay the price for being mitam Yiddish neshama. Just like you're going to pay the price for throwing away silver coins when they go, because you had no right to throw away silver. You had no right to do this to any woman. Chen lo yasa, period. Therefore, you be able to. So that lesson really is for us as well. That sometimes we think, we some people we don't treat with as much respect we should give them, or we disrespect them sometimes, and we don't realize that the consequence is far graver, because we don't realize how deep and special that person's neshama is, and you're going to be held responsible, since it shouldn't be done to anybody. Even if you didn't know that this person had an incredible neshama. But since you have to treat everybody equally, and you don't, you're going to be held responsible for that deeper neshama that you were not aware of as well. All right? We'll stop there. We'll pick up.
So what the